Hey y'all, it's Susan with Susan Monroe Art again, and we are going to do another cute Christmas card. All you need to do this one is, of course, your paper. I just folded a piece of watercolor paper in half. Then you're going to need a glass, your clean water, of course your watercolors, some paint pens of some kind, a paintbrush that comes to a point, and a pencil. So let's get started. Oh, and a paper towel. I always love to dab my paintbrush on a paper towel, preferably not one that's falling to pieces. Get a new one. And a paper towel that I'm going to set over to the side so I can just dab my brush whenever I have a little too much paint or water on it. First thing we're going to do is mix up a dark blue color, and I'm using my ultramarine blue here, and I'm going to use some Payne's Gray. I've talked about watercolor being different consistency. When you add a lot of water, it's like tea. You add a little less water, it'll be more like the consistency of milk, and then the least amount of water, it would be the consistency of cream. This is more like milk. So there is a lot of pigment, and it's going to make a nice bright color. And I'm going to paint the edge of my glass. Try to center this. Boom. Just press it down. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. Now, I still have this blue paint on my brush. I'm going to dab off a little bit, a little water, and I'm going to run around the inside edge of this circle. Okay. And why you need to work fast is because I want you to get this, pick up this paint that you've made your circle with before it dries. Okay, there we go. That way you won't have a hard ring around the edge. Okay, so there. Now I'm going to get a little more water on my brush, and I'm going to go around a second time. And I'm going to get more and more water on my brush, and there'll be less and less paint. I'm rinsing every time I make another ring. Now I rinsed off a little more paint and put a little more water. So you can see every ring is getting a little lighter. And I'm just overlapping my brush with the edge of the previous ring. So you see the effect we're getting here? There we go. By the time I get to the middle, I really just want it to be sort of clear water. And now, boom. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? So just let this dry. Take your time. Go get your cup of coffee and then come back and we'll go on to step number 2. Okay, let's go to step number 2. You're going to take your pencil and draw about a quarter of the way up, just a little wavy line. Then go to center right here, make a little dot. We're going to make a triangle, which you can guess will be a Christmas tree. I like to make dot, 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 draw to the dots, just because then I can make sure my tree is balanced and not wonky. Nothing wrong with a wonky tree if that's what you want, but it's not what I'm going for here. And then the bottom line, I'm going to slightly curve to give the tree sort of a 3-dimensional effect. I'm going to erase my curvy line right here and put a trunk right there. Now I'm going to go in with my blue paint again. Watch this. And I'm going to not paint under my wavy line. I'm going to go around the edge one more time and do the same thing again that I did before. I'm going to get more water and less paint with each trip around my circle. See how I'm always taking that extra water off of my brush? Just helps you control the flow of your water and of your paints. And I'm not painting over my tree. There we go. Alrighty. Now, we need to let that dry. I am now going to draw the base for the snow globe. I'm going to find the center all the way down, and I want the base of it to come down to about here. I'm drawing a line. Now I'm going to draw a line going across, and this is all just so I get that base symmetrical. You can go nuts, you can just draw a shape down there if you want. This is just how I do it. And I'm going to draw a shape called an ellipse, which is a very narrow oval under here. And it's going to give us the impression that this is 3D. It's going to make the curve, nice curve on the bottom of the base. So I'm going to want my base to come like, maybe like this. Okay. And my ellipse. Now my ellipse is nice and even, centered under my globe. And now I'm just going to erase this part. We are still waiting for this to dry. And while we're doing that, we're going to paint the base of our snow globe. I'm going to get some, oops, wrong brush. I'm going to get some Scarlet Lake and a little of my alizarin crimson because I think it makes a more Christmassy red. Now I'm going to go down this side, making sure I don't paint over my snow globe, down to the bottom of that line, and on this side, down to the bottom of this line. Okay. I'm going to rinse a little bit, take off my extra paint, and I am basically doing the same thing I did with my circle. I'm going to just pull this paint toward the center. Okay. Now I'm going to rinse off some more and pull this paint toward the center. And I'm working quickly because I don't want it to dry before I have a chance to pull it toward the center. Okay. I'm going to again rinse it in the water towards the center. And you can see how we've made a base that's shaded on the outside edges and lighter in the middle, which gives an impression of roundness, being a little more rounded. There we go. All right, I am going to wait for all this to dry before I go on to my next step. There we go. Now, up here, this is my own mistake. I think I went too dark on that first circle I painted. I want to lighten up just, this is going to be snow under this curvy line. I want to lighten that up a little bit. So I'm going to rinse my brush and just brush some water over this. My brush is dislodging some of the paint particles that are in this area. And now I'm going to take my paper towel and just lay it across. Boom. And I've lifted up some of that paint. I've also left sort of the paper towel webbing look, paper towel texture, and I can just go back in and fix that. Guess I just want a more defined line showing where the snow starts and the snow globe ends. Okay, I think that looks better. All right, now I'm going to dry this and then we're going to go on to the tree. I've got a fun little way to make the tree. We're going to get, this is phthalo green. I'm going to make a puddle of it up here. Dab off a little extra. Now I'm just going to sort of put my brush down and make little marks all the way down the tree. See how I'm just touching my brush and it's making these little shapes. There's a lot of waiting for things to dry in this one, I know, but now we have to wait for this to dry before we can go on to the next part. So now I'm going to add maybe some sap green to this green, which is more of a yellow green. Just change the color a little bit. Make this a little thinner, maybe a little more don't know if you can see that, a little watery by adding just a teeny bit of water on my brush. Look, oh my gosh, this tape is not working today. Let's just take it off. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Just lay my brush down. And it's okay to go a little bit outside of your pencil line. I think it actually looks better if you do. Because, you know, Christmas trees aren't just perfect cones. They have a little branches sticking out of the sides. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry. And I'm going to keep doing that, sort of altering my color green, maybe adding a little yellow to it, adding a little blue to it, making it darker, making it lighter, until I've covered my whole Christmas tree. There you go. Beautiful tree. Now I'm going to take a little of my favorite brown, this sepia. I'm going to make it fairly strong and put a little trunk under here. Boom. I'm also going to take some of my Payne's Gray and a little more of this blue, very watery, and just make a little shadow sort of around my snow globe. This makes it look like it's sitting on something, not that it's just floating in the air. Sort of a pet peeve of mine. It's up to you. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. I just like to spread my shadow out a little bit. Now I'm going to take my white paint pen, my white Posca marker, and add some snow to my snow globe. As you can see, my Posca pen went a little nuts. I think I had a little too much ink in it, and it made some big blobs here. Some super big snowflakes. Well, nothing I can do about that. That's just life. So I'm going to let that dry. And while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go on to the next step. Now that these snowflakes have dried, I really like how some are bigger and some are smaller. I think that makes some look closer and some look further apart. You might also notice I made a line to delineate where the snow ends, and I put extra snow under the tree. I'll probably go back and add some more snowflakes in a little bit. Now I'm going to take my red pen and I'm going to make a garland. You could add ornaments if you want to. You do you. But I just wanted to add a simple garland. Now, on the base, I want to write Merry Christmas. So I'm going to write my little lines. I'm curving them like the base is curved. And I'm just going to pencil in to make sure I get the words fitting in a little bit centered. And I cannot do calligraphy, so I just use all caps. I'm going to take my green Posca marker to write this out. Great. Now when that dries, I'm going to erase my pencil lines. And then up here, my gold marker, I'm going to add the star. Okay. I'm making an X. And then I'm putting another line straight up and down and putting little rays coming out all over it there. So a little shine on my card. Now I'm going to finish adding snowflakes. I'm going to probably add a couple of snowflakes in front of the tree. I'm going to erase my pencil lines. And there. I think it's a really cute little Christmas card. And I hope you'll try it. Please check out my other videos. I've made a couple other Christmas cards that I think are really nice, and they're easy and anybody could do them. I'm doing a 100-day painting challenge. So this is part of this. I think this is like day 21 or 22 of my painting challenge. So please keep checking back. I'm putting new stuff up every day. And right now I'm just in my Christmas card mode. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.